Before I get this lesson started, I want to give all praises to Yahawah, Bahashem Yahawashi, Bahashem Rakakodash, and double honors to the elders and the apostles of the great millstone, of whom I learned from, and a shalom to the hopefully elect men taking this truth to the four corners of the earth, bidding the hopeful elect, the Israelites, to the marriage supper of the Lamb. This is your brother Radah. This is the Dallas camp, and I do not know the gentleman on the left who is reading, but the gentleman to the right is the beloved elder Yasharamba, the head of the Dallas camp. I personally have been in this truth. I'm going to say I woke up August 2019, right before COVID hit. But it was about an 8-month to 9-month wandering time on the internet, listening to a whole bunch of Israelite camps, not knowing what was going on, but knowing I had woken up. Then GMS came into my my YouTube feed, or my YouTube algorithms, right around, I'm going to say 2020, somewhere the month of April or May, and it was the elder Manat Dazatba out of South Carolina. And everybody knows how fiery he is. That gentleman and this man, the Most High, Yahawah B'Hashem Yahawashi, used to literally do root canals on my spirit, man. Both of these men, Elder Manat Dazatba and the beloved Elder Yasharamba that you see right here. I still listen to these men to this day. They have shaped my mindset and my stance in this truth. And now I'm fortunate enough to stand on the other side, at the other side of the camera, over at the Atlanta camp. Look at this. This lesson, this camp was a couple of weeks ago, 2 or 3 weeks ago. I remember it because I was watching it live. I didn't see this. They were giving instruction to some. It looked like they were Hamite teenagers, but they could have been Jake, and they were listening, and they were asking questions from Christianity. And they were explaining what the gospel actually means and how they were showing them very gently. They were showing these youth how come, or what they didn't really understand, how Christianity doesn't teach the scriptures. When this class was being taught, you're going to see a chariot. This gentleman is pointing out the chariot that is going to show itself in the clouds and then hover right above Elder Yasharamba's head and then go up into the sky and then take off. Look at this.
Shalom, Makim, shalom. Hey, check this out. Take the scriptures here. And I know sitting, tipping and hollering. Take yourself.
Now you see it right under the point of this triangle. You see that little sphere of light where his finger is. Just go up, and you'll see it just under the triangle. Now it's going to slowly move, and it's going to disappear and reappear as it moves to the right, and then it's going to position itself over the elder's head. Watch.
Seriously, study this word. Get to the Bible, man.
Now it's right here, right above the edge of the roof, right before that first tower. You see that light? That's it right there. Watch.
It's good. All right. So Isaiah 9:6 says, "For unto us a child is born."
And there you see it. That is not a helicopter. That is not one of Esau, the so-called white man's military mobiles. That's not a satellite. That is what is accused of being a UFO, because it's not unidentifiable. It is identifiable. The Bible calls these the chariots, the clouds, the whirlwinds, the wheels within wheels. These are what the hosts of heaven operate in. And the host means armies. The holy angels, you have angels on the left-hand side of Yahawah, and you have holy angels on the left-hand side of Yahawah, and you have evil or wicked angels on the left-hand side of Yahawah. So you have the holy angels on the right-hand side, and the wicked angels on the left-hand side, and Yahawah B'Hashem Yahawashi controls both of them. They both express him within the earth, and this is one of those holy angels positioning himself over the men of the Lord as they are preaching and teaching the correct gospel known as the new song mentioned in Revelations chapter 14.
This is the prophecy of the Messiah. He was prophesied in the Old Testament. A lot of people
You see it disappearing. You see it moving in ways that mankind does not know how to create flying vehicles that move this way. This is showing you its signature. This flying craft is authenticating itself just by the way it moves. It's not a secret, or it's not an accident or a coincidence that it knew to position himself perfectly above his head while the elder is teaching. Now watch the scripture that they, or the precept, the prophecy that they bring out right now.
Isaiah, which he has plenty of. Right, go ahead. Right, for unto us a child is born, unto us a son is given, and the government shall be upon his.
As he says government, it begins to ascend.
Shoulder, government shall be on his shoulders, meaning he will be the high priest. Go ahead. And his name shall be called Wonderful, Counselor, the Mighty Power, the Everlasting Father. He is the Father. Go ahead.
And it holds its position right there as the prophecy is being explained about Yahawashi and the throne of David. This is on purpose. This host, this army, this warrior of Yahawah in that chariot is being told to do this. And he's doing this on purpose. He's authenticating who these men are and what they're teaching.
The Prince of Peace. Prince of Peace, go ahead. Of the increase of his government, in peace there shall be no end. Upon the throne of David. On the throne of David. And upon his kingdom, to order it and to establish it with judgment and with shalom.
So you saw that. So let's get a couple precepts in the scriptures that show. Let's show Yahawashi. Let's show that the chariots are called that the UFOs are called chariots and clouds. He maketh. Just see it. It's already coming up because we use these precepts all the time. Okay, so this is a Psalm of David, right? Psalms 104, verse 3. Who layeth the beams of his chambers in the waters, who maketh the clouds his chariots, who walketh upon the wings of the wind. This is a dark saying. This is a riddle. These are bars. This is a song. You have to break these lyrics down. You have to understand what he's saying. So you got chariots. What's a chariot? Let's look up a chariot real quick. Let's just look up a chariot real quick. Let me just photos. You know what I'm saying? So a chariot. Let's say a chariot. Let's just say, okay, boom, images. So we understand that chariots have wheels. They have a place for the man to stand, right? Whether it be a man or a warrior that's a man, right? And it's used to transport and to go to war, right? It has to have a form of power that pulls it, which is horse, okay? So see that right there? See what you see? You see the horse in the sky? That is a physical, carnal misunderstanding of what is spiritual, because a chariot like this that you see on the ground can't go up into the sky. But a chariot that looks like this, let's just do it. This is what they call them, UFO. That is what we just saw with the horses, okay? And the propulsion system of these chariots is also called a horse, just like in an engine in a car, okay? So all of this, the UFO, what you are seeing, you're seeing the accusation of Esau, how he has tried to control the narrative. And see, there it is right there, the alien face. That's been the number one accusation of the chariots by Esau, because he's had power over the air. Esau, Edom, the so-called white man, is the prince of the power of the air. How so? Because he was given the technology of radio and the press. It was him that was given that first, so he could broadcast his narrative over the nations, over the lands, through the media and the press, radio, then television and movies, right? And he could give you his interpretation, his narrative of what the Bible says here. Now look at this. Now let's just go. Second Esdras 13. The man who came out of the sea. Okay, talking about Yahawashi. Okay, so let's just read a little bit. And it came to pass, after 7 days, I dreamed a dream by night, and lo, there arose a wind from the sea, that it moved all the waves thereof. And I beheld, and lo, that man waxed strong with the thousands of heaven. And when he turned his countenance to look, all the things trembled that were seen under him. And whensoever the voice went out of his mouth, all they burned that heard his voice, like as the earth faileth when it feeleth the fire. And after this I beheld, and lo, there was gathered together a multitude of men out of number from the four winds of the heaven to subdue the man that came out of the sea. And this is the battle of Armageddon. This is the war of heaven mentioned in Revelations 12. This is Satan and his angels fighting against Michael and his angels. It's just worded different in this prophecy. Verse 6, but I beheld, and lo, he had graved himself a great mountain, and flew upon it. We also know that mountains are symbolic for governments and rulerships. Well, what do governments and rulerships have to enforce their power? They have an army, a military force. They have chariots and swords. They have spears and arrows, right? They have armor. You got to understand all of that mystery, all of that explanation is bound up, is concealed up in this one line. But I beheld, and lo, he had graved himself a great mountain and flew upon it. Verse 7, but I would have seen the region of the place whereout the hill was graven, and I could not. This is how big this chariot is. He couldn't see from what he was seeing in the sky. He looked all the way to the left, all the way to the right, all the way forward, and all the way backward. And this chariot filled the entire sky. So it was at least 5 miles in diameter, because I believe if you go on Google and if you stand in a place where there's no trees and you look to the horizon and you see into the distance where the sky touches the ground, in any direction that you look, I believe it's 5 miles out, 3 to 5 miles. So that chariot was at least 5 miles around that he was looking at, which is probably more bigger than that. After this I beheld, and lo, all they which were gathered together to subdue him were sore afraid, and yet durst fight. So this goes into your today. You're just talking about your what's that? Trump and Elon Musk. What's the star? What is it? Hold on. No, I'm brain farting. Now I want to look that up. Hold on. I can come back to this. What is let me see. Trump's star. Let me see, Trump's star, what's it called? It's called a Star Force. So look at this. Damn it. My bad. Salaki, you guys. Look at this. Trump's Star Force, right? So you got the Star Force. Let me see images. I want to get there's a hat that they have. If you look at it, if you invert it, it's a goat. It's the Baphomet, which it tells you what these people are about, man. They understand that they can only go so far. They can't get past the Van Allen belt. But they understand that these, let me see if I can find the Star Force hat logo. Let me see. There it is. Boom. Now, if you invert that, if you turn it upside down, I can't turn it upside down with this camera. Let me see. But if you turn it upside down, those two lines make it's a goat. And then, and so the ship becomes the nose of the goat, and the two lines, which are supposed to be the exhaust, those become the horns. That's what it is. And then you have the inverted pentagram right in the forehead of it, bro. So dude, this is who these people are, man. And these people are known also as Satan in the earth. Yes, there is a real prince of the power. There is a real prince demon Satan who sits at the left-hand side of Yahawah. But the physical counterpart of Satan is the so-called white man, and his name is Esau in the Bible. All right, we're going to go back to that. We're going to go back to that prophecy. Boom. Now look at this. Verse 9, and lo, as he saw the violence of the multitude that came, he neither lifted up his hand, nor held sword, nor any instrument of war. Verse 10, but only I saw that he sent out of his mouth as it had been a blast of fire, and out of his lips a flaming breath, and out of his tongue he cast out sparks and tempests. This is very violent judgment coming out of him, right? This is coming out of the spaceship, out of the UFO, out of the chariot. As he gives the command, the chariots are going to be launching out concentrated laser fire beams at the armies that are on the ground and in the air trying to fight him. Verse 11, and they were all mixed together, the blast of fire, the flaming breath, and the great tempest, and fell with violence upon the multitude which was prepared to fight, and burned them up every one, so that upon a sudden of an innumerable multitude nothing was to be perceived, but only dust and smell of smoke. When I saw this, I was afraid. Let's get another precept. Revelations 12, or I think it says, let me see, he's got a sword. He's got a sword in his mouth. Let me see. I believe that's yeah. And out of his mouth. Okay, so look at this. And out of his mouth. Let's go back one. So this is Revelations, right? And the armies which were okay. Let's go back another one. Revelations 19:13. And he was clothed. Let's keep going back. Let's just keep going back. Okay. Hold on. Revelations, Revelation 19:11. And I saw heaven open, and behold, a white horse. What do they mean by this? The horse is talking about this right here. What you Salakia. Hold on. This is the horse you guys are seeing. This is because what it takes power, right? Vehicles need power, right? So like when they say a car has 500 horsepower, when they say it has horsepower, I'm going to fast forward it. What you see flying, that's power. There's power in that. And horses are symbolic of rulership and power in the ancient world. So this is a horse. What you're looking at in the sky, it's not a Pegasus. That is what you are seeing is a display of power and rulership. Because look, do you think that the person that's inside of that flying craft, think they asked permission from Esau to fly in the sky right now? Do you understand how air traffic control works? You have to speak English to operate in a tower no matter what country you're in. That also proves that Esau is the head nation on the earth. And you have to communicate all the coordinates of all the airplanes all over the earth that are flying, because you can't have a plane with 500 people on it, 200 people on it, traveling at 500 miles an hour, crashing into another plane. They have to follow the coordinates. These chariots never tell Esau when they're going to show up, and they never crash into a plane. A plane could be flying up there right now. You don't think that chariot, you don't think the person in that chariot doesn't know that? He absolutely knows that. That's power. They're proving their superiority. They're proving their power by them showing up without even communicating with Esau's system, and they never get into a crash or a wreck. They never hit another plane, yet they're always up in the sky flying around.
Counselor, the mighty power, the everlasting Father, he is the Father, go ahead. The Prince of...
Let's get this. And I saw heaven opened, and behold, a white horse. That's what this is talking about. That horse is a chariot. And he that sat upon him was called Faithful and True, and in righteousness he doth judge and make war. So those chariots are able to make war. His eyes were as a flame of fire, and on his head were many crowns. Why? Because he's taking all the rulerships of all the other nations when he comes back to sit on the throne of David. He's going to be the only one in power. And he had a name written that no man knew but he himself. And he was clothed with the vesture dipped in blood. That goes into Isaiah 63, verses 1 through 4. We'll get that. And his name is called the Word of God. This is not his blood. This is not talking about when he shed blood on the cross. This is blood he has shed. When he comes back what you see flying in the sky, when he gets the word from his father, it's over for the Edomites and all the other armies that are with him. It's over, and a lot of people are going to die. And he was clothed with a vesture dipped in blood, and his name is called the Word of God. And the armies, what are the armies for? Why are armies coming back with Yahawashi? If it's a peaceful meeting with the world, why is he coming back with armies? Because there is a rulership on the earth that doesn't want him to come back and take the earth back, and that is the Edomites, the so-called white men. And the armies which were in heaven followed him upon white horses. They are also riding in chariots. They are also riding in those same chariots that you see right there, so beautifully falling through the sky as they're preaching the gospel.
In peace there shall be no end upon the throne of David, and upon his kingdom, to order it and to establish it with judgment and with
Shalom.
And the throne of David, if you go into David's rulership, David had all of the other nations or races of people in subjugation when he was on the throne. He was not friends with anybody. He had garrisons set up over them. The same way you see Esau today with his military force and everybody's backyard, up everybody's behind, and how he's putting sanctions on everybody and nobody puts sanctions on him. That's the throne of David, man. And that's what's coming. So there's so much more we can go into. But the chariots were letting themselves be seen and be known on above the heads of the men of the Lord at GMS, man, proving these guys have the truth.
Shalom, Akim, shalom. Hey, check this out.
Let me pull up that the precept that lines up with 2nd Ezra 13 and Revelations 19, talking about how he comes to make war and how the violence and how he burns everybody up. Look what it says in Isaiah 63, Isaiah 63, right? On 63. So, damn, look at this, bro. I'm gonna read just 4 of the verses. This is Isaiah 63, man. Who is this that comes from Edom? So now Edom is the focus of where Yahawashi is coming from. Okay? And who is this? This is the Most High asking a question about his son. Who is this that comes from Edom? Edom with dyed garments from Basra. There goes his vesture that's dipped in blood, mentioned in Revelations 19. That's what this is talking about right here. With dyed garments from Basra. Basra is the chief city of Edom. The same way you would see LA to California, or Houston to Texas, or I don't know what's Detroit, Michigan. That's what this is saying. Basra is that to Edom. So this is pinpointing a specific race of people. Who is this that cometh from Edom with dyed garments from Basra? This that is glorious in his apparel, traveling in the greatness of his strength. This is the greatness of his strength. Wonderful. You see in the sky.
Counselor,
that's what it's talking about.
The everlasting Father, he is the Father, go ahead. The Prince of Peace, go ahead. Of the increase.
How he's coming back down. There's coming a day where Yahawashi is going to come like that, and he's not going to stop, and he's going to wipe everybody out. And that's what this prophecy is going into. Okay? Back at the top. Who is this that cometh from Edom with dyed garments from Basra? This that is glorious in his apparel, traveling in the greatness of his strength. I that speak in righteousness, mighty to save. Wherefore art thou red in thine apparel? Why are you covered in blood? And thy garments like him that treadeth in the wine fat. What's a wine fat? It's a mechanism for crushing wine grapes back in the day. And if you were in there stomping on grapes, it's also symbolic of judgment. You would look like you just got out of a slaughterhouse. Verse 3, I have trodden the winepress alone, and of the people there was none with me, for I will tread them. Who's the them? Go back up to the first verse, Edom and Basra. He's coming to smash this race of people. And the elect of Esau knows it. That's why they have a space force. I have trodden the winepress alone, and of the people there was none with me, for I will tread them in mine anger, and trample them in my fury, and their blood shall be sprinkled upon my garments, and I will stain my raiment. For the day of vengeance is in mine heart, and the year of my redeemed has come. This is violent, okay? Why? Because Esau's been violent. Hasn't Esau trampled everybody? Yes, he has. Yes, he has. Okay, we're going to end here.
Of his government, in peace there shall be no end upon the throne of David, and upon his kingdom, to order it and to establish it
Yasharamba, man. That is so. Look at that, bro. Just got the host just posted in the back, man. Golly. Kahala Yahawah Bahashem Yahawashi. I pray that this lesson was edifying. I want to give all praises and glory to Yahawah Bahashem Yahawashi, Bahashem Rakakodash. And I want to give double honor to the elders and the apostles, the great millstone of whom I learned from, and a shalom to the brothers, hopefully elect, taking this truth to the four corners of the earth, bidding the hopefully elect to the marriage supper of the Lamb, who is Yahawashi. This is your brother Radah. Shalom.